So as I mentioned a few weeks ago, in fact, I had Regan on my podcast and heard about her through a lot of mutual friends, and then Esther introduced us. She said, this Regan's kicking ass and taking names. I'm like, yeah? Tell me about her. And she's like, oh, she's just like dominating, right? And I was like, cool. I trust your judgment, Esther. Let's have her on the show. And I just kind of went in not knowing much about Regan, but holy shit, I was blown away. You know, just like this drive and this passion and just this heart that you could tell she has a genuine love for people and making a significant impact on this world. She was on this other podcast, and before a guest comes on, I do some research, listen to other episodes, and it was a show where this guy, he's like really known for like just asking abrupt questions, right? His name's Nathan Latka, and it's like a 20-minute show, but he's like not really going into like, hey, what'd you do and how's your life, or he's like, how much money do you make? How much clients do you have, right? What's your bottom line? He's like very straightforward. So a lot of people don't go on a show, but people listen to it. It's a very popular podcast because he goes into people's numbers, you know? So the whole thing is interviewing Regan, and she was like telling this story about how in the past 9 months of growing her online coaching business, she went from $0 to $150,000 a month, you know? Some of you are like, holy shit, like how is that possible, right? And I was fascinated by that too, and I had her on my show, and she really went into a lot of the mindsets required, obviously the systems, the processes, and I was really inspired by it, right? So that's really what Regan's gonna deliver today. What is a seven-figure mindset, right? Because, like I said, it's two things. It's the mindset and the mechanics. Obviously, you need both. You can't just have the mindset, be confident, and have the belief, but not have the systems. We also need the systems melded with the mindset, and that's where you hit that magical 6, 7, 8-figure land. So here's Regan's short bio. Regan is a serial entrepreneur, investor, mindset coach, and the author of the best-selling book, Be Your Brand. In her client work, she helps entrepreneurs uncover their true message so they can make a bigger impact in the world. From Australia, please welcome Regan Hillyer.
Or am I loud?
Yeah. Volume, people in the back, Gregory, Pat.
Can you hear me like that? Yeah? Do you have a mic? Should I put a mic on?
Yes, I'm trying to find where the other mic is. Oh, yes, there you go. Yes. So anyway, she's going to get your slides going.
Okay.
And yes. I got this part. You take care of the slides.
Change your hairstyle.
Change my hair?
No, I said you changed your hairstyle.
Oh, yeah, last year.
Yes.
Alright, cool.
All right, Regan. So
We will get there.
we're going to get there, but while you're getting ready, because this is like fascinating, we are getting filmed here. Regan has a movie about her life and her journey. So I know it's not a movie and a documentary. Esther, can you tell us what it is?
It's a reality show called the Regan Hillyer TV, and it's all about the behind the scenes of what she's actually doing to have this kind of a lifestyle and this kind of success in business. It's about to launch in a few weeks, and this is part of it. So, yay!
Yes.
We'll see you guys on the show.
This is all a reality TV show.
Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Thank you so much, AJ. Do we have slides? Okay.
I will take care of that. Hey, tell us about your journey, just from Australia to
Awesome.
New York, and you can share that while I get your slides going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a whirlwind over the past couple of weeks, I think. I don't even know what day it is or what time it is, but I know that it's awesome to be here right now. So we've been we've been all through Australia doing a bit of a tour, and then we were in Hollywood for the last week. We're here for like a day and a half, and then flying out tonight speaking at Coachella, and then Where are we going after that? Vegas for Cat's event. I get the order mixed up. And then Miami, we're interviewing, Kat and I are interviewing someone super cool and secret, which we may announce on our Facebook pages probably like tomorrow, potentially. And then back to LA, which is really exciting. So it's good. Progress?
Well, here's the thing. You write a PDF, so I can only get the slides to work. So I'm trying to figure out how to broadcast a PDF on the screen. Anyone is a tech wizard.
I think you can save it as a different file, like export. I can try to play with that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's why I checked with you. I was like, is that okay?
I'm sorry?
You're not on a Mac, but on a Mac I can just double click and open up and it should
Yes, yes, PC, so. Okay, okay. Yes, I think they still do their PCs. Yes, it is. Well, my whole business also, thanks. Yes, we'll figure it out, and while we're waiting, so let's just go back to, the origin, right? Because we want to know your origin story. So can you just let them know, like, how you got into your online coaching business, like what got you to where you are right now?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I grew up in Auckland, New Zealand. I don't know if you can hear the Kiwi twang a little bit. I kind of sound like an Aussie too, because I was there for a while. But I was blessed to go to a really good school, have a great education, and I was very much, someone that was going to fit into the system. I started a degree in architecture. Not that I've ever worked a day as an architect in my life ever, but I did complete that degree. But look, halfway through that, I really started to feel like there was something more. Has anyone had that before where it's like, okay, you know who you are. It's like talking to such a good room, you're like, I get it. And I just knew that even though I was good at that, and maybe it was expected of me, that there was something greater that I was meant to do in the world. I always knew from such a young age that, I was here to make a massive impact, and I just didn't know how. Right? So that's when I started a massive personal development journey. Like, I literally was a seminar junkie. Like, I went nuts on it. Like, course after course after course, so many books, coaches, education, money I did not have. Like, I was just so committed and so determined to figure out, why was I here and what is this life thing all about? And so that's what actually spurred me into becoming a coach, because I started working on my mindset. And it's a bit of a funny story, which I'll share with you guys while we're playing with the computer. Where, I was doing a lot of courses around investing in property, online business, trading currency, forex, like all of this stuff, but I wasn't really seeing results. And I remember being quite frustrated, and I was like, I'm spending all this money, I'm putting all this time in, why is nothing working for me? And then I started working with this mentor. And I told him my concerns, and I sat down. I was really upset. Like, I'd spent thousands of dollars at this point. And he laughed at me, right? And I was like, why are you laughing? And he looked at me and he said, oh, Regan, you don't understand the 80-20 thing. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, tell me how much work you're doing right now in your mindset. And I kind of looked at him and I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, exactly, right? I was spending like 100% of my time on the strategy, but this wasn't sorted. Can anyone else relate to that? Right. And that's why so many people go in and they do courses and they work really hard and they invest in education, but they don't get the result, versus someone else that does the same thing strategy-wise but does. And the only thing that separates them is themselves and their mindset. So the minute I switched that and I started putting 80% of my energy into my mindset, using then the strategies that I learned, that's when everything shifted. And it shifted really, really, really fast. So I became a coach through that process. I love the process of, seeing the change and how quick everything could shift when you started working on your psychology. I started working with people one-on-one. And it got to a point where, I was loving it. I was helping people with literally anything, because I understood that all success is psychology. So I was helping people, lose weight, quit smoking, make money, anything, right? And it's so funny because I remember being at this point where I had so many one-on-one clients that I felt like I'd literally created myself a job. And so many people would say, that's such a quality problem, right? It's like, that's a great thing. I'd love to have all these people paying me a substantial amount of money, but I was working 8 hours a day and I was really committed to those people, and I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. So that's when I decided that I had to look and create more leverage in my business. So that's what got me into speaking. And I started out running small events for Australia and New Zealand, and it was awesome. It kind of like clicked for me that, oh, instead of speaking to one person for an hour, I can speak to 10 people or 20 people for an hour and still potentially get the same result. How are we doing?
I just sent the PDF to Esther to convert it to a
Oh,
PowerPoint.
perfect. I'll keep going.
Keep on
Cool.
talking.
All right. So that's when I shifted into doing all of that. And look, it was awesome. From the outside, everyone was going, you know, you've got this amazing life, you get to travel all the time, you're making such an impact, you're so lucky. But for me, it's kind of like it was 95% perfect. And there was this little 5% that was out of alignment, that wasn't right. Can anyone else relate to that? Where it's like, it's good, but it's like not perfect. And that's when I did a lot of mindset work, and I got really, really clear on what I actually wanted in my life and in my business. And I made a few decisions. I decided that I wanted to make a bigger impact in the world than what I was doing then. I also decided that I wanted to live a kick-ass lifestyle. Because at that time, I was having to travel to all the events, and if I stopped, the business stopped, okay? So that's when I made a decision, and that's when I launched my personal brand, which was in the last 12 months or so. And that's when I literally shifted, moved to location free, went to Bali. I was like putting myself in a position where I had to make it work. I didn't know really anything about online stuff. I still kind of don't, to be honest, but I do know about this. And I know that if you put your mindset and your message in the alignment first, just like what Kat talked about yesterday, really freaking magical stuff can happen. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Update? I can see them there.
Yes. The whole presentation is here, but for some odd reason,
Okay.
it's not showing on the screen. And basically, you can't like scroll through it by clicking.
Okay.
You have to manually just go down.
All right, cool.
Do that. But Esther's also working on turning it into PowerPoint. So
Okay.
you keep on speaking. And
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's basically my story, guys, and how I turned up today. And obviously, AJ shared how we met. And who thinks he's doing an amazing job, by the way? So, who here currently has a mindset coach? Oh, shit. Okay. We've got some work to do today. I need the slides. Does anyone have any questions for me, generally around mindset, success mindset, and money mindset, that they want to ask right now? And I'll tell you what, if I'm going to cover it off in a sec, I'll say we're going to cover that off in a sec. Question.
What's your morning ritual?
I'm going to cover that off in a sec.
I didn't even realize I had a mindset problem. I thought I did it until yesterday.
Right.
Carrie and Brian, had to talk, and it affected me so much. It was almost emotional. So I'm trying to figure out what is the first step to get out of my own way, because I know now that I do have a problem.
Right.
It's significant enough that I'm not getting anywhere with my business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, do you know what you've kind of done the first step? The first step is having an awareness of what's actually holding you back. That's the first step to change. You know, most people just go through life and they hit these walls constantly, and they're not aware that it's actually them. So do you know specifically what that block is?
Well, I realize that I realize a lot of times that I feel like I have a cloud, like a dark cloud following me. Like sometimes things happen and I go, well, of course that happened because.
Right.
And I do that without even realizing that I do that, and I find that not only my business, but a lot of things in my life are difficult. And I also have anger issues. So I have a problem dealing with that, and it spills out into anger.
Right.
And I'm only really, I always knew I had anger issues on other things, but I'm realizing that it has really seeped into everything. It's so insidious that I only just woke up yesterday.
Right. And awesome for waking up. Right. Do you guys just want to give them some love? I'm not sure whether you're at the point of realizing that, the cloud that you spoke of, you've created that somehow. Because everything that shows up externally is first created in here, right? Now, the good thing to know is that if you've created it, we can uncreate it, okay? that's like the next thing to know. You're in control, right? You're in control of these results. You're in control of your blocks and your limits because you create them. Like no one's sitting there going, oh, you shall have an anger problem, right? For some reason, you were triggered to present an emotion of anger due to some blocks that are in there. So obviously, like we don't have hours to go into that right now, but that's what I'd be looking into. I'd be going, okay, what's actually behind this? What's causing the blocks? And just have the courage first before the confidence comes to actually go, okay, I'm going to face this head on. Make sense?
Yeah.
Question. So, I've made more money since starting working with AJ than ever in my life, but I still have the same problem of like, even though I make the money, I just go broke again and again and again.
Right.
And so, obviously, it's not a matter of like making money. It's like I'm going to keep making more and more money working with AJ, but I don't want to, I realize I keep going broke. So what do you do to like shift that to obviously people?
Right, that's an awesome thing. And who else has had that before, right? Where they've created money and then it's gone, it's because they're creative. So there's a few things there, and again, without getting totally into stuff, here's what I would suggest is going on, is that, you know, we have unconscious money thresholds, right? That basically is like a ceiling, which it's like a thermostat. So it's like if you hit it, it drops you back down to where your thermostat is. So you can make like triple what you've made, but you're right, you're probably going to lose the game. So the mindset of creating X amount of money is a different mindset to actually being able to be the person that keeps that same amount of money, right? So if I was you, I would be daily getting into the space of going, okay, well, who do I have to become? What kind of identity do I have to step into to be the person that actually creates and keeps, not just creates, because everyone's like, I'm going to make this, but they don't actually think about keeping that money and what thought patterns are there, what beliefs, what fears do you have around that which you need to then break through. I'd also be looking, this is a whole other conversation, around family stuff and checking out whether these patterns have happened in the past, because it may be actually unconscious stuff that's showing up for you. Make sense? Cool.
Quick, so you can stand on this side. So
Yeah,
you got
absolutely.
the reality TV show.
Okay.
We're
Cool.
making progress here. We're almost
Okay.
there.
Perfect. I'm enjoying Q&A.
Yeah.
Question?
So you said you went from 0 to 150 in a month. So what was your mindset at 0, and what is your mindset now?
My mindset at 0 was I'm going to start making 100K a month. I'm going to start making 100K a month. I make 100K a month daily. There was no like, I'm starting out, like, let me like work towards 20K. I was like 100K a month. And now it's just bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally have on my phone right now, I have already received 200K in the month of April 2016. Like, it's done, right? So it's constantly pushing that threshold.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to start with the end in mind, right? And it has to be in a way where it's like big enough for you to be like, holy shit, that's big, but not so big that it's actually self-sabotage. Because if you're at 0 and you're going, I'm going to make $1 million a month, but you actually don't believe that, that's self-sabotage. Because then you try and you don't hit it and you go, see, can't do it. Whoa. And you prove to yourself. Yay! Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it has to be big, but in a way where you actually believe you're going to do it. Thank you.
So yes, before we get started, like this is some epic shit. So you can see that this can be a killer presentation. We want to, like I said, capture it. Make sure you're fully focused. We're gonna start from scratch.
Cool. Well, I won't tell my story again. Hi, I'm Regan, and it's awesome to be here. Let's keep going. So, again, thank you so much for having me, AJ. Look, guys, I showed up today, if you haven't figured this out already, to disrupt your version of normal, right? And I showed up to just maybe stretch your mindsets a little bit so that you become a little bit bigger than what you thought was possible. Would that be good?
Yeah.
Cool. And I also came here to drop some truth bombs around your mindset. There may be moments where you go, ooh, and it hits you, and listen to that stuff. Because you always know. If you get an internal emotional reaction from any of this, just listen to it and go to work. Okay? So again, you've heard my story, so I won't keep going with that. But what do? There's two key things I help people with. Okay, number one is success mindset. High-level success mindset, if you haven't got that already, from the way those questions were answered. I love it. I truly believe that you are your own limit. You're also your own creator. So if you go to work on that, you really can achieve anything you want. The second thing I do is around personal branding. And just like Kat said yesterday, I truly believe you can do whatever you want and get paid for just being you. You position yourself to have a powerful personal brand. And when you combine the two, some really cool stuff can happen. So, we're going to be talking on mindset today and why it's so important. I'm going to be running you guys through alignment, setting powerful intentions and how that works, working through resistance and blocks, and again, some keys around that. How to actually manifest the results. Who'd like to manifest some results in their life and their business a little bit faster? Cool. And just like you asked over there, your daily mindset routine and just some ideas that you can pull from and actually implement straight away. Sound good?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so I've already touched on the 80-20, right? Has everyone heard that before, or has someone had a bit of a wake up that maybe they need to spend some more time on their mindset and it would actually help them? Right. So, what you need to know right now is that abundance is a mindset. It's not a thing, right? It's actually something that you create internally. Money is a mindset, and success is a mindset. Would anyone like these three things? Would you like some more of those in your life? Some more money, some more success? You have to create this. You have to do the work. And it's not about attending a course for like a day and then being really inspired and leaving. It's about doing the work daily, day in, day out, okay? So let's chat on alignment first, because I truly believe you have a choice. And for me, and for in the realm of online business, regardless of what industry you're in, there's kind of two key things in my world. And the first one is the strategy, right? And we've spoken a lot on strategy, like how to physically do it, how it all works. And the second thing is your messaging, which Kat spoke on so awesomely yesterday. It's alignment and it's your mindset, okay? And something's got to give, right? Something's got to come first. So in my world, there's kind of one of two people. There's the people that go, okay, I'm just going to focus on the strategy and like build everything out so it's totally perfect and get it all ready and like figure out the perfect join the dots system, and then I'm going to take my message and my mindset and kind of like make it fit, right? Or there's the people that go, do you know what? My message is powerful. I'm put here for a reason. I know that I'm going to impact millions, and I choose to focus on that. And if you actually do that, and if you go to work on your mindset, you will figure out the strategy. I promise. Because if you're that committed to your message and everything that's going on internally, you will find a way. Right? Are you guys starting to get how I've got the results in my business? It's not some secret system. It's no magic funnel, right? It's putting this stuff first. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Who's going to be a little bit more committed to getting into alignment and actually staying that way? Good. Okay. I often get asked, how do I know if I'm in alignment? How do I know if I'm sharing my true message? Or am I just like finding a way to make money online? How do I know? And the answer is, guys, you always know. Every single time. And it's not a big complicated thing. I know it's a word that's thrown around a lot. It's like, what does it actually mean? But you just need to go within and ask yourself. You don't need to be super woo-woo to do this. Just ask yourself, does it feel right? Is it me? And sit with it. And if the answer is, I'm not sure, no, then it's not, okay? And if it's a hell yes, then it's yes. You guys getting this?
Yes.
Simple
Yes.
stuff. Right, thank you. Simple stuff, but everyone misses it. So, let's talk on setting intentions, because this is so important. This is exactly around the question you asked about money when I started off. You get what you expect, right? Whatever you expect to receive in your life, in your business, around money, around success, around fame, around fortune, around anything, you will get it, right? At some point. And if you don't expect to get much, what do you think you're going to get?
Nothing.
Right. And I'm talking about not just on I expect $1 million. I mean like knowing with every cell in your body that that is what you deserve, okay? So to get clear on this stuff, I would recommend you do this daily. I'm going to basically teach this in sections and then we'll tie it together at the end in terms of the ritual. But get clarity on your income. There's so many people walking around saying, I want to be financially free. And I'm like, well, how much money do you want to make? And they're like, oh, I'm not too sure. I'd just be happy with more. And I'm like, well, if I give you $1, are you going to be financially free? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, what, $10, $1,000? Like, how much do you want? So many people never get what they want because they don't know what they want. They haven't actually clarified it. They haven't set the intention, right? And then you need to actually get really clear on these intentions as if they've already happened. So when you're doing your mindset work, it's not about, I wish that I'm making 100 grand a month. I hope that I'm making 100 grand a month. I will make 100 grand a month. It's like I am making 100 grand a month. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm receiving 100 grand a month, and here's what I'm doing with it. See the difference? Yeah? This makes yes. It's so much more powerful when you actually act from the space of having already received it. So I'd recommend right now, if you're not clear on this stuff, get clear on your income and where you're going. Get clear on who you want to work with. So many people get into this space where they don't love their clients. My clients are like soulmate clients. I adore my clients. They're my family. And everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky. You work with amazing people. I'm like, no, I created them. I'm so clear on who I work with, down to a T, down to like their own thoughts and their beliefs and their fears and what they stay awake at night thinking about, right? And I write that stuff down, and what do you think shows up? The same stuff, right? Is this making sense? Who's going to do some more work around their ideal clients and what that actually looks like? And again, writing it out from the perspective of these are the people that I currently work with, and how cool is that? And then I'd recommend with intentions that you need to get clear on how these things are going to look through your whole life. Because you've got to be careful, guys. Whatever you ask for and truly believe that you will receive, you ultimately will receive. But you've got to put some terms on how you want to receive that. Because if you want to receive, say, $100,000 a month, yet you haven't clarified other areas of your life, you've got to look at what's potentially going to happen to your health, or your time, or your freedom, or your relationship, right? And chances are, look, I know I've been sitting in this room, you guys just don't want the money and then have the rest of your life fall apart, because that's no fun, right? You want it all. And you can have it all if you give yourself permission to have it all. And in order to give yourself permission, you need to get clear on it through every area of your life. How you do one thing is how you do everything. It's all interlinked. Make sense? Okay. There we go. Working through resistance and blocks. That girl looks like she's going to kill someone. My team did this really well. You need to literally face your blocks head on. So I've got some, suggestions of blocks. There are many, but these are the common ones that come up. Okay, fears, for example, self-sabotage, self-doubt, and unconscious family resistance. Who's dealt with one or more of these in the past? Right. Who creates them? Right. Who can change them? Okay, there is no magic wand for this stuff, but if you understand these blocks and their reasons for being, then you can actually move through them with a lot of ease, okay? Again, the first step to actually creating change is having an awareness of what you need to change. So once you get clear on these blocks, it's a matter of moving through them. So I'm going to punch someone in the face if another person on stage tells me that fear is not real, okay? It is absolutely real. Who here has dealt with fear? Oh, look at that. It's a real thing, right? And I understand you can't put it in a wheelbarrow or give it to me, like I get that, but it still affects you, which means we need to acknowledge it and deal with it, right? So I always tell people I work with, I'm like, okay, the fear's real. Now let's look at the fear and why it's there. Your brain is wired to keep you safe. At the end of the day, imagine if we eliminated fear and you could no longer feel fear. You're going to just walk to an end of the cliff and be like, oh, the cliff, It's like you need the fear. It serves a purpose, but I agree that it actually holds you back at some time. I always use the analogy it's like you're in a car, right? And the fear is always in the back seat. Wherever you go, no matter what level you play at, it is always going to be there. And guess what? The more successful you become, the bigger the game you play, the bigger the fear, right? It doesn't leave you. People think that, once you reach, this point in your life, then the fear is just gonna go. True, AJ?
Absolutely.
It never goes. In fact, it gets worse, and you deal with it on a more regular basis, but you understand how to play with it, right? You understand how to use it to empower you. You understand how to actually shift through it. The fear's in the back seat. Do you let it come around and suffocate your neck and cover your eyes so you can't see when you're driving the car? Or do you go, fear, just freaking hang out in the back seat, right? Or do you get out of the car completely and give up? Choice is yours, but you have to deal with it. Self-sabotage. Who are our master self-sabotagers in the room? Please raise your hand. Welcome. It's so normal. Okay, it's so normal. And it's honestly one of the biggest things that I see people do. Now, You may not understand it completely, but I know it shows up. This is what we're talking about with the money, right? Like you hit the certain threshold, then all of a sudden you've lost the money again. It shows up in so many areas. You get a great partner, then all of a sudden you sabotage it in some way. Here's what you need to know. When you hit your goal or your limit, and it's like, yes, I've achieved that. Literally, if you haven't conditioned your mind to actually understand what's on the other side of that goal, it processes it as fear, as the unknown. It goes, oh, holy shit, that's a really scary place, and it takes you back as quick as you got there to whatever the other goal was you're at before. Is this making sense?
So much.
Right, good. So, in order to deal with it, what do you think we do? We simply condition ourselves to understand what's on the other side of that goal. And I don't just mean the good stuff. I don't mean like, you know what, when I start earning $100,000 a month, everything's going to be amazing. Here's what I'm going to spend the money on. You need that stuff. But also, what's going to be the crazy stuff? What are the fears? What level of self-doubt are you going to be dealing with? What does this mean for you and your family? What are people going to say and think about you? Who are you going to have to let go of in your life? You need all of that stuff as well. So that literally then your brain can go, oh, okay, that's everything I'm dealing with. I can deal with that, damn it, and move forward. The other way as well, while we're talking on self-sabotage, is condition your mind to see the next goal above the goal you're currently achieving. Right? Because if it can see what's actually coming, all of a sudden it doesn't seem so scary. Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Self-doubt. Who deals with self-doubt? Yeah. Okay, that never goes away either. It just doesn't, right? And again, the bigger the game you play, the more self-doubt you have. Kat will tell you, right? I will tell you, anyone who plays in a really big game. True, AJ, do you deal with self-doubt?
Absolutely.
Right, and
Yeah,
people look at people like AJ and Kat and they go, oh no, those guys are like super people, like they must have no self-doubt, they're so confident. It gets worse, right? But you need to condition your mind to move through it. So something I would do to work through self-doubt, and it sounds so simple and silly, I'd start writing down all the things that you are incredible at, all the ways you know that you deserve the client or the money or the success or the fame or whatever it is that you're working towards, right? You need to actually remind yourself sometimes that you've got this. And remember that, you know, people go, oh, I wish I had more confidence. Then I'd have less self-doubt. And it's like, well, you create the confidence. So sometimes you just need a bit of courage. And sometimes you just need to give yourself permission to have the courage to then create the confidence. Got it? Great. Now, unconscious family resistance. And this is probably a block that's not talked on so much, but is a really big deal when you start looking at it. And what I mean by this is, without getting too woo-woo on you guys, there are things that are literally passed down in your cells and in your genetics from family which store emotions, okay, which then also recreate patterns that show up in your world, putting that very simply. Now, to give you guys some examples, who's had some challenges when they have grown and then all of a sudden family members don't understand or don't accept it? Right, this is the stuff showing up. And again, the more awareness you have around this, the better and the easier you can move through it. So I would be asking myself, okay, I'm just using income for you guys because it's an easy example. If I was to hit X amount of level of income, what are my family truly going to think about me? Like really, at a deep level, are they going to understand me anymore? Are they going to be connecting with me? Or are they going to find me kind of alien and foreign? And are you okay with that? And are they going to be okay with that? And start dealing with it before it happens, right? So that you can actually move through it. Because otherwise, your unconscious will just go, oh, I don't want the drama. That seems too hard. I don't want to be rejected by the core people that actually love me the most deep down in my life. Make sense? Cool. All right. How are we doing for time? Is that a new look?
Keep on going.
All right.
Yeah, you're in the flow.
Okay.
Stay there.
Cool. All right. Okay, so let's chat on manifestation because it's all very well, you know, setting intentions and working through the limits, but obviously we want all this stuff to then show up, okay? So, what you need to know, and you should write this down if you don't really get this on a deep level, the thing with the highest emotional charge will always be the thing to manifest in your life. Always. Now, I use manifestation daily, not in a really like woo-woo kind of way, but I promise you it works. People always say to me, oh Regan, everything you touch turns to gold. Everything you set your mind to, you achieve. Because I get this, right? So if you're doing your ritual and you're like getting into the energy of like, okay, it feels so good to be successful and be earning this money, and then you stop, your half an hour of your mindset work, and then you go throughout your day and you get a bill and you like get frustrated and then you get stressed out and anxious. What do you think you're going to receive more of?
Bills.
Right, more stuff and less of the good stuff that you're doing all the hard work for in the morning. So, what I would suggest you do is during your mindset work, energetically tap into the feeling of what it feels like to become the person that's already received the goals. Okay, now this is identity work, right? Get into that energy, get into that feeling, and it doesn't have to be like, I'm not talking meditate for like 30 minutes, I couldn't do that. I'm talking like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, just get into the feeling of how good that feels. Then, this is one of the things I always get my clients to do, is to put a stopwatch on your phone, like how often you can do it realistically with your life. Every hour, 2 hours, 3 hours minimum, and just put a little stopwatch, a little alarm on, so it goes off. Now, every time that alarm goes off, stop whatever you're doing, get into that feeling for like 20 seconds. That's it, right? And that's enough to actually break any negative emotional states that are going on in your day and tap into the energy that you want to show up and manifest more. You getting this? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So, to wrap this up in terms of your daily routine, if I were you guys, who's doing a daily routine at the moment, by the way? Cool, that's awesome. Have you learned some new stuff to incorporate into it?
Yeah.
Cool, right. So, what I'd be doing, and there's so much you can do again, when I work with clients, it's more on an individual basis because everyone has different blocks and limits, obviously. I would be setting intentions, right? I'd be getting totally clear on exactly what it is that you want in your life and getting into the space of knowing that it's already happened. So it's not like, I want this. It's like, I'm so happy and grateful that this is happening, that it's happened right now, and here's what it means now that it's already happened. And I'm talking about like details, right? Kat and I have a call once a week, and we literally just talk to each other that whole time as if everything has already happened. And the shit happens, right? Like constantly. But you have to do this, like day in, day out. Who, by the way, in their daily routine is more like a every 3 daily routine or like a weekly routine, right? Like, be honest. You need to do this daily. You need to condition your mind because it's like growing a muscle in the gym. The more you do it, the faster you'll actually grow it, okay? You need to energetically tap into the feeling. We spoke about that. And then continue that on so you're actually doing it constantly throughout the day. I always write out daily non-negotiables. Now, I'm not good with a big to-do list. If I put any more than like 5 things on my to-do list, I go, boring, and I don't do it, right? So I work with 3. Just 3 key things that I commit to actually getting done in order to achieve everything that I'm writing out in the intentions. Because exactly like AJ said just before, you can't just do mindset work all day and then not actually take any action, right? No one's going to like knock up on your door and be like, oh, you've been doing mindset work, like here's the money, right? It's not going to happen, like ever. No, coming up. So you have to be doing it. Like I'm all about the law of attraction, but you actually need to then go take the action. But if you do this, it will be aligned action. It will be with more ease, right? It will be with less fear and resistance, okay? So you need to be making sure you've got these non-negotiables and then actually go and do them. Like I said, I've just covered the last point. Taking massive, massive, massive daily action. Who commits to doing a little bit more of that in their daily routine? Nice. Okay. So, to sum it up, just because I'm aware of the time, go to work on your mindset, take massive action because there is plenty of room for all of you at the top. Right? Less than 2% of people in life are actually going to make it. And I like to think that AJ really has attracted in literally the top of the 2% in this room. Right? You guys are here for a reason. Don't do that seminar thing where people just like get all excited and take lots of notes and then do nothing. Take massive action. Go to work on your mindset. So, guys, I showed up today to disrupt your reality a little bit and maybe expand your mindset to get you to think a little bit bigger. Because I know that each and every single one of you could be playing at a higher game. Who's with me?
Yeah!
Powerful presentation, right?
Oh, do you want a question?
One question.
All right.
There were a lot of curious people when you were doing Q&A before.
Yeah.
I want to answer one more, so put your hands up if you have a question for Regan. Julia.
Yes. Hi. You were saying before when you are like visualizing, you know, that whatever your goal is, right? Your intention. That you haven't, say you haven't achieved it yet, right? Like you starting at 0 and you kept saying 100K a month, 100K a month. Like how are you able to get your brain to believe that when you are like so far away from it?
Right, so yeah, it's a great question and a really, really valid one. So for me, I literally believed that I was worthy of that money. And that's where it was at, right? And it's not like I just started and I was like, oh, I'm worthy of 100K. I did the work around that. So I remember specifically writing out all the reasons. It's kind of like you have to give your brain evidence, right? And so I remember writing out all the reasons of why I was deserving and worthy of receiving that money. Here's another thing around money. The world will never, ever, ever give you the money you want until you have a reason for it. So it's not enough to just go, I just want to make 100 grand a month. Why? Why? Just because it'll be fun or cool or you want to save it? Tell me what you're going to do with it. So I would also write out, okay, well when I receive it per month, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest in like this high-end coach that I've wanted to work for ages. I'm going to put this here, I'm going to do this here, I'm going to donate to this to charity, and I'd be like, oh, I've got like 7 grand left over. What do I do with that? You need to be accountable for absolutely every single dollar, right? And then again, it's getting into the space as if it's already happened. So I do mindset work around not receiving the 100K. I do that firstly, and then even on the same day, I'd be like, okay, well, I've received it now. So I don't want 100K again. I want like 150. So what does that look like? So I'd start gearing my mind through to that next level, through to that next goal. So it's like, okay, how can I condition myself? Like, what are my thoughts and beliefs and fears going to be there? What blocks come up for me? What fears do I have? How do I work through that? Is this making sense? Cool. Awesome.
Beautiful. Please give Regan another round of applause. Incredible presentation. And I love this mix